So once again, I feel the need to make one final statement about this video going around where I'm answering a question and I'm being falsely accused of suggesting that teachers should be fired for supporting LGBTQ plus students, or that I'm saying derogatory statements about rainbow signs. So one final statement. I'm answering a question that was given to us at a forum. The question was, a teacher in a classroom witnessed, and I'll say alleged behavior because that's all, I don't know if this happened, alleged inappropriate sexual behavior between two students in a classroom. And when this was reported, administration did nothing and saw nothing wrong. In fact, this person was then removed from that building, from working there. She asked us what we would do if elected. She also asked the question about the LGBTQ rainbow safe space signs on doors. When I step up and begin, I immediately address those two questions. The first thing I say is, I've seen this rainbow signs and I will address that later. This is because I go on into my speech to discuss how I believe that having signs on some doors and not others sends a message that some teachers might not be a safe space for all students. And I believe that every single teacher in every single building should be a safe space for all students. I then immediately go in to addressing the inappropriate behavior. And that is when I say, who wants to look at that? And I do believe that if a teacher sees inappropriate sexual behavior in a classroom and allows it and doesn't see anything wrong with it, that they do have an agenda. And that is against Ohio Revised Code and their contract. And that was the point I was making. And I was making that if a teacher gets away with that, it's because they realize they can, and that goes up from the top down when I referenced the top down from meaning our board and superintendent. Now it should be said, I do not believe that Mentor has this kind of problem. But nevertheless, I was asked the question, and so I answered it. It is unfortunate that regardless of how many times I've tried to set the record straight, the supporters of Wall and Marchesa refuse to hear the truth, and they continue to defame my reputation. I just want this to be an example of what things will look like if Marchesa and Wall win. If you have a hard time finding your voice now, it's going to be even worse if they're elected, because this is what they do to anybody that may think differently than they do in some issues. So thank you for listening, and I hope that you would vote for Rose and Gil.